Sonic the Hedgehog, the blue blur that leapt into our hearts back in 1991. His successful arrival onto the Sega Genesis marked the start of an abundance of many Sonic the Hedgehog titles to come. Sega and Sonic Team produced a number of games, only to confuse the fans as to whether or not all of the games are considered canonical or spin-offs. This timeline is dedicated to organizing all of the games in the series into one set order, along with an explanation of why each game fits where it does. During the video, you will find a YouTube username in the bottom left-hand corner. Those specific clips were taken from one of the username's videos. As not to commit plagiarism, I have given credit where it's due, but, most importantly, this video is meant for educational purposes. So, without further ado, I present to you Sonic the Hedgehog, The Timeline. Enjoy! This is the game that started it all, Sonic the Hedgehog for the Sega Genesis, released in the summer of 1991. Sonic the Hedgehog battles his nemesis, Dr. Robotnik, in their first adventure. Dr. Robotnik threatens to rule the world by using the power of animals to power his various robot lackeys, as Sonic frees them and ruins Robotnik's plans. Released in the fourth quarter of the same year, the Game Gear and the Master System both featured this game, Sonic the Hedgehog, although each one was very slightly different. Additionally, the Game Gear version was 8-bit, and the Master System version was 16-bit. This game's story could be seen as an alternate way of telling the story of the first game. However, the only importance is that Sonic is again saving the world from Dr. Robotnik. Sega's Sonic the Hedgehog was released in 1993. Seeing as how this game does not feature Tails, yet was released after Sonic the Hedgehog 2 for the Sega Genesis, this can theoretically be placed at the end of the list of games where Sonic fights without Tails. However, this game was released before Sonic CD and therefore takes place before it as well. As the story goes, Sonic the Hedgehog and two other characters, Ray the Flying Squirrel and Mighty the Armadillo, get captured by the evil Dr. Robotnik, who is referred to as Dr. Eggman in this game and many other games, and are brought to Eggman Island. In the end, the island is destroyed and everyone survives. Originally released after Sonic the Hedgehog 2 for both the Sega Genesis and the Sega Game Gear, Sonic CD was in production alongside the other two games and could have possibly supposed to have come out beforehand. One important factor that determines where this game takes place in the timeline is that Sonic has not yet met Tails, or at least does not fight Dr. Robotnik with him by his side. In any case, Sonic CD marks the fourth game in the Sonic the Hedgehog timeline. Huh? Let me guess, you're wondering where Sonic 2 is? Well, that's not until Chapter 3. Next up is Sonic Labyrinth. Because this game came out recently after Tails' Adventure in 1995, this game can either be placed in the timeline during the events of Tails' Adventure, assuming that the Western storyline of Tails' Adventure occurred and both Sonic and Tails split up, or it can take place at the end of Meet Sonic the Hedgehog, before Sonic met Tails according to the Japanese storyline. This timeline will assume that the Japanese storyline is the correct one. In other words, since Sonic and Tails have yet to meet up, Sonic Labyrinth takes place simultaneously with Chapter 2, which is Tails' adventures before he met Sonic. As far as the story goes, Dr. Ivo Eggman Robotnik secretly replaces Sonic's famous red shoes with another pair, the Slowdown Boots. They take away Sonic's ability to run fast and jump, and they cannot be removed at all without the use of Chaos Emerald energy. By the end of the game, Sonic gets his shoes back, and all is well. This concludes Chapter 1. Meet Sonic the Hedgehog.